recorded live.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be across the nation or around the world. Once again, you are listening to the VMware Communities Roundtable Podcast. This is podcast number 611. My name is Eric Nilsson, and with me today I have my regular co-host, Matt Lungeth. Today is Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. Matt, how are you doing today?
Eric, I feel like I haven't been living up to the regular co-host standard as of late. It's been a while since I've been back on to be able to co-host. Really appreciate the opportunity. It's 8 weeks out or thereabouts from all things VMware Explore. So we're here to talk about the content catalog, all of the session features, some more in-depth into what the Explore event is shaping up to be this year for both the Americas and the HPJ and all of the other locations that are happening or whatnot for the entire platform. But before, sir, we get to all of that, my favorite question: how are you? How are things out there on the West Coast? And most importantly, what is the color of the bay today?
I'm doing great. I'm getting pretty excited. We've been doing a lot of stuff. The content calendar launched yesterday, so we've been talking about it. We did a live stream tweet this morning, which was
we did, which was fun. Are we going to be able to repost that? Is that something that is live?
It's first time we've used it. I don't really know what we get to do with it. I assume that they record that as an MP3 and we should be able to post that somewhere. So that was fun and exciting. Had people on there. We've been talking about content calendar, and then, California here is beautiful weather. It's was hot last week. This week it's like in the 70s. So can't go wrong with that. Color of the bay is we got just a dark turquoise, darker green, calm, nice weather, classic summer, a little bit hot and dry. We're in drought, so going good with that. So yes, I'm excited about VMware Explore, as always, content calendar. Before we get into that, maybe we should shoot over to Utah and ask Corey Romero, what's he got going for vExperts and the bloggers?
Yeah, so a couple really cool things. So blogger passes, we've got 25 blogger passes for VMware Explore US, and we've got 15 for VMware Explore Europe. So later today, in just about an hour, on blogs.vmware.com/vexpert, you'll see a post and you'll see exactly how to apply for a blogger pass, and then some of the things that we're looking for. So look out for that. And then also vExpert voting. So for our second half vExpert Awards, the results will come out in July 11th. So if you've applied for vExpert, look for that on July 11th in your email, as well as the vExpert blog. Tomorrow, we've got also a vExpert briefing tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Skyliner Advisor Pro, and that's exclusively for the vExperts. So other than that, the weather here in Utah is amazing, and we got rain yesterday.
Oh,
and it was hot.
Corey, it came up on the Twitter Spaces event today that we are still requesting for vExperts that are going to be attending either the US or Europe VMware Explore event, that we need them to go into the vExpert portal, correct?
Yes.
And check whether they're going to be attending. And the reason why is we have a significant gift that's going to be able to, or I hear that's coming along for those vExperts, and we need to have an idea of how many we're giving out. And in order to do that, this is the mechanism that we're using. So for those vExperts that are out there, please head over to the vExpert portal. And I think within the portal, there's an events tab right up towards the top.
Events and opportunities. Yep, events and opportunities. And it's really easy. You'll see both events, US and Europe. You just click yes, I'm going, or no, I'm not going. If you're not going, please update us that on the as well. If you're for sure going, choose yes.
Yeah.
And there is a cutoff date for that. July 15th is our cutoff date.
So right around the corner, less than
budgeting. Yeah, it is right around the corner. So get on it. You've got about 16, 17 days left. So yeah, for us to know and budget correctly. We'll need the answer.
Well, at this point, it's not even budgeting. It's just we got to put the order in. And, we've talked about on the podcast, we are going to buy the Nooks. So everybody gets a Nook, and then you can go come to our code lab and learn how to install Tanzu on your Nook, and then learn how to put sensors on your Nook to build a smart desktop, and then learn YAML file configuration to control the desktop applications that we do in the code session. We're going to teach you a little bit about how to build a smart desktop app, have it do voice control, and then we'll teach you how to create YAML files to control that application to run things on your desk. So should be a lot of fun, kind of like the Raspberry Pi, but instead we're going to do it on x86s with sensors and a smart device with voice. So I'm looking forward to all that. But if you don't come, you can't get one. So we're not going to mail them out. And if you don't reg by, or if you don't let us know by July 15th, you're going to be there, then we're not going to order one of these guys for you because they are super expensive. And so, but we haven't had a great gift in 2 years, and we're not going to do a party. So instead, you're going to come engage with us, come do the, DevOps sessions, do the coding sessions, and be a part of it. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, going to be worth showing up. So Corey, thanks for putting that all together, and everybody Absolutely. Get out there, get to the get yourself registered for the event. Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of angry experts who aren't going to get their NUC x86 Celeron processor. I think it's like a 4 or 5 core machine, little box. If you haven't ever built a home lab on a NUC NUC, go look at that x86 NUC from Intel's. Go check that out. We're going to be giving them away for the experts. All right. Awesome. With that, Matt, anything else, or should we get to our guests?
Let's dive right into it.
All right. Well, let's introduce Allison Crooker, Director of Event Marketing Content, and Marion Scoble, Manager of Event Content. My two favorite people in all of VMware outside of our own group. It's just always great to have you guys on. And times are big right now because of content calendar. This is your moment, right? This is one of the biggest ones. Why don't we start with Allison? Allison, tell us, give us a 1-minute elevator pitch. How long you've been at VMware? What do you do? We kind of know that, but go for it.
Okay, sure. Let's see. I'm going on, keep me right, 4 years or 5 years, Miriam? Because we started around the same time.
We're close, about 5 years now.
5 years now. Okay, so 5 years at VMware, and all the time I've been the Director of Content. Content is my thing. I'm all about event content, and that's what me and Miriam and others on the team focus on. VMware Explorer particularly.
Right. All right, perfect. And Miriam, you can do the same thing.
Yeah, as Allison mentioned, we started just right about the same time, and we've been having a lot of fun putting together a great agenda for this year. But we do this every year because content is king, and we love working on it.
Queen.
Queen.
Right. All right. Well, so this year, it's a different year because we haven't been on-prem. Now we're on-prem. It's a new event, technically. You guys have been looking at, why don't we talk a little bit first about the broadening out of the, Explore event, right? And how that has affected, content acquisition for the show this year.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I want to stress is that it is a broadening out. It's not a exclusion of. So it's still, our core users conference, right? Our VI admins, our sysadmins, we have content for them. Everything from the new, Project Arctic, the vSphere Plus, vSAN Plus, lots of great content on that, including some hands-on, I believe, experience that we might be able to have there, all the way through to some of our newer Tanzu related product conversations and more hands-on there as well. So we kind of have that broad range all for the IT admin. And we also have new content that's more for the developer. We have a DevSecOps track. We have a DevOps track. We have an open source track. Where some of the newer people, perhaps, to knowing about VMware can come, hear the things that they want to hear about, and hopefully also stop by and check out some of the things that maybe they didn't even know about. We have some content this year that's drive-buyable, so you don't have to scan your badge, you don't have to do anything. You can just kind of come to the expo hall and hear some great content, as well as sign up, register, come to get your really great user conference content that is sure to help you with your day job.
Yeah, that sounds great. I know it's exciting because we have the new event, but then if you look at VMware and the great things that we got, that people are talking about, whether it's Tanzu, modern apps, or DevOps, right? Like if you look at who we're selling to and what the VI admin is doing, we really can't call them VI admins anymore. We have to call them IT admins, right? Because
Yes.
they're spreading out what they do, whether it's multi-cloud, whether it's supporting developers that are laying on top of Tanzu, which the truth is Tanzu is a great product. It just runs on our current infrastructure, but yet you give Kubernetes to all your developers. And so it's like most of the IT practitioners are like, yeah, we need to do this. We're doing it. We're deploying Tanzu. And so they have to come, absorb this content. So there's been just a high demand on all of these topics.
And I wanted to say that's one of the things that Miriam and I have been talking to. And, we have a bunch of people who are much smarter than we are, our SMEs who we work with to develop and curate all the content. One of the things we've told all of those people is that, we're here as well to bring that, like you said, that VI admin, really who is becoming an IT admin, help them get there. Like we're there to help them make that shift, as well as kind of our audience acquisition, plan is making a shift.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's not just they're not actually making a shift; they're just layering on top, right? Like it's like nobody's leaving vSphere, right? We still have vSphere. You still have all the infrastructure that you've had, but at the same time, these are things that are laying in that you can climb up the stack, right? And so it isn't like anybody's abandoning or changing their roles as much as they're just adding more capability into vSphere, which is kind of what we did with Tanzu, right? So, Matt, is that an accurate assessment?
I was just running through the content catalog that was out there, and to Allison's point, one of the things that I started to see is just as a general theme is above and beyond the product content itself. It was more of how are we now accommodating our own audience to maybe possibly make that transition over from the traditional VI admin to maybe that more DevOps focused, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, some of the sessions that are out there for career development, I happened to notice one that was out there of how are you going to make the transition from a VI admin to more DevOps focused? There is, community content that's out there from Amanda Blevins about how she was able to transition into now what is the first female CTO at VMware, right? She's had that talk track out there for a while now with the VMUG circuit, but she's now, I'm assuming, has, now made that next step into her career with even now leveling up to the position of CTO. And would love to hear that revised content. So it's not only about the technical side of things. I'm sure that Allison and Marianne can speak to this, but then how do you make that transition as the individual, right? Or that team lead that's out there that's now having to reorient what was the traditional, VI admin team. And that's what I love that I'm starting to see as a theme within the content catalog.
Yeah. I have a question for Miriam with regard to going to Content Calendar. I find that it is super easy now to find content. Like if you go to, everybody that's listening to this, you have to go there. You have to go to vmware.com/explore, check the US device, the US event or Europe, and go into the Content Calendar. The ability to select product, select session type, and that product, there's like 20 entries, and they're just nice checkbox interface, very fast, very speedy, super quick session type. You can choose what type of session. So the VMTN Tech Talks are right there. VMware Code Theater's right there. I don't feel like it was ever this easy to find the VMTN sessions and the code sessions and other sessions. Did you guys make changes to this, or am I just because I haven't it's been 2 years since we've had a live event? I'm curious what your impression is on this interface now.
Thank you for pointing that out. I think because of the breadth of the information and the sessions that we have, it is so overwhelming to look at the content catalog as a whole. And it's a learning process as everything else with life. We had a lot of focus groups after the conferences, and met with some of our VMUG leaders, met with some of our speakers, met with the content leads, and got their feedback, and we tried to implement it as much as possible to make it an easy experience for the attendee, so that when they look at the content catalog, they are viewing all of our sessions, but they're able to find the session, the topic, the speaker that they want, and of course the product that they want to learn more about. But yeah, it's a learning process.
Yeah, I would say even the audience selector, right? So if you're CEO, CFO, CIO, cloud admin, cloud architect, like that's really nice. And these are all live checkbox things you can check. And all of a sudden, what I'm looking at, the sessions it's recommending, I can go into each of these categories, select various things, so that ideally it just gives me like the 5 sessions that I should go look at if I were interested in multi-cloud and I'm a cloud architect and I, want a code session, right? Like, boom, there it is. I check these boxes and it just gives you a nice manageable list. So I gotta say, profs and shout outs and fist bumps to all of you guys that built this interface, because it's the first time I've ever felt like
it is. It's super slick. If you want to search for an individual speaker, it returns that back. I've used it for, okay, I want to see all of the EUS sessions that are out there. If you search just for EUS, so that was, I can remember that. I think that was either in 2020 or 2021, where we renamed that over now from what was EUC focused content to end user services. So I can see all of those 60 some sessions that are out there, filtering out by what might be keynotes. I see Sean Bass is scheduled to give a keynote talk as he usually does, and whatnot. And then all of the other content that's out there that I can see that's now really focused on partners and customers, right? Of that huge amount of for any given one of these, talk tracks of it. If you pick a track and then see all of the partners and the customers that are out there, as opposed to what was a little bit more BU focused. So while we certainly appreciate the technical content from years past, one of the things I'm excited about, for not only for myself, but then for the customers as well that are attending, is how are you actually using this tech, right? What does this look like when it's deployed in the field? What are some of the challenges that you ran into? What's your story? It's the best customer adoption, narrative that you can have, right? That's the power of this, where the customer gets to tell the story, and that level of transparency that's there, right? What did you run into?
Well, Matt, I guess I have to pay you now, because that was like everything. I think to Miriam and I, we have worked really hard this year to really have customers and partners talk about how they use VMware, as opposed to what we've done in the past, which is have VMware talk about how they, developed the VMware product.
And there's some of that. Don't get me wrong, right? There's still some of that, but there's a new emphasis for that customer story.
Yes, because we have heard that even our most diligent, product users want to hear how the products are being used at other places, right? Our customers like to hear that. And some of them have come through our partners. We know our partners are very important to us. And so having the partners bring customers who are also our customers is important too, and having the partners talk about the solutions that they provide to their customers. So yeah, I'm really glad that you noticed that change. It's been a shift in the boat.
I want to bring up a great session that Kenny Coleman on our Twitter Spaces discussion had called out. Car washes and Kubernetes, right? This is a SE, Austin Lawrence with computer design and integration. This is session KUBB 2137. So Kilo Uniform Bravo Bravo. Just a great example of a customer that's out there that's using the Kubernetes stack out for car washes to run, certain applications that I'm assuming this might be, PCL controls or some type of other automation that they have out for a fleet of car washes, and how he was able to develop this and implement this solution. So stories like that, right, where we can see of how this technology stack within the Tanzu portfolio now is being rolled out and used in real world workloads and production use cases.
Yeah, I would add that I feel like there's a happy pendulum swing. So back when I started the company in 2006 and 2007, if you looked at the VM World content, it was all customers, because customers were getting this virtualization that was unheard of, and they were coming in and just showing how, because nobody knew how to do it, because vSphere was brand new. It wasn't even vSphere; it was ESX or Virtual Infrastructure 2.0 and Virtual Infrastructure 3.0. So they were, and I looked at them for the first couple 3 years from maybe 2006, 2009, and it was a lot of the same people telling the same story, but what they did more year after year, right? So they'd come in the next year and tell you what they managed to implement the next year. Somewhere around 2010, maybe 11 or 12, the pendulum swung to, and granted, people were saying, wait, it's the same customers telling the same stories. And so of course the pendulum swung the other way, going like, could we have more VMware come and tell us what's actually happening in the product set? And like, we want to learn. I'm tired of hearing, because there were literally 30 sessions on how to implement ESXi in the data center to do physical to virtual consolidation, right? And so we saw that pendulum swing, and it swung, I think, too far, right? Where we spent a lot of time, pretty soon there wasn't that much customer or use cases. And now I see it swinging back, which I actually think is cool, because we have so many more customers doing so many more things, blockchain and other things, where you're just like, yeah, love to learn about this now. So that's kind of fun too. I like that pendulum swing, and I think it will be popular, and I think it lends itself well to explore, with the exception that now that you have it's called Explore, yet I got this great search thing. So I thought you were going to have to like wander around and look under rocks and try to figure out where you could learn something, but you've kind of taken the fun out of the Explore with this great interface. Let's check a little bit about the difference in having a physical event again, right? And what it means to record people versus not record people versus being at the venue. How many sessions do we have? And what's the operational, difficulties of getting all these people to show up at events again, right?
Well, I'll focus on the in-person, and Miriam can talk about our digital destination.
Sure.
What we did for the in-person is, one, we realized, it's not going to be a 25,000 person attended event this year. Now, it could surprise us. We could be happily surprised, but we think things are still a little bit where, let's plan for something a little less than that. And actually we planned for about half. So we actually skinnied back the amount of sessions that we're offering in person as well. It's still ton of in-person sessions, more than any one person could see in one day. But there is definitely, if you look at 2019, there's definitely less sessions than we hosted then. And we went back to kind of what we know and what our attendees thought they needed and have told us that they wanted, which is we capture all of the content that is live. We post it 24 hours after that on our on-demand. Available to everyone, whether you registered or not, with your code. And then we also have things that you can't get captured, like the hands-on lab experience or the meet the expert experience or some of our expo theaters, like those. So there's enough FOMO, right, to make it valuable to pay for the registration. But also there's that like, oh, I couldn't see every session, I want to see something, or I really just don't have the budget. And I really still need to know and use your content. So for your email, you can get it the day after. So we decided to stick to that format.
Nice. That makes sense. Miriam, online destination, what does that mean?
Yes. So the pandemic was hard for everyone, but it did give us a lot of opportunities to explore how we can reach a vast variety of attendees. And so we used the pre-recorded sessions and the virtual environment to reach our attendees in the last 2 years. We've decided to keep the best of what we had in the past and go ahead this year and provide a digital destination for attendees who cannot make it physically to the event. These would be the top of the technical sessions that we would be pre-recording and they would launch about 100 sessions for US, and additional 50 sessions for the European conference. We were pre-recording them, level T200 and level T300, and they would be available at the first day of the conference, or day zero as we call it, August 29th for US and November 7th for Europe. Now that means that anyone could watch these as long as they log into my VMware account.
Nice.
Account
Yeah,
too.
we're probably going to do that for the VMware code sessions, where we're reaching out to the code authors, which there are like 30 of them, and recording them ahead of time, because we're not going to pay for the camera crew for the code session. So if you're there live, you can watch the code sessions. We'll pre-record and then release those code sessions as pre-recorded sessions after the show, right? So that if you can't make it, you can still be there and see the session. And it is kind of a nice hybrid approach. Let me ask, you said a day after, or is it the day of? When are you going to release your sessions online then?
The pre-recorded sessions would launch on the first day of the conference, so August 29th.
Okay. All right.
But if we are capturing in-person sessions, they would be
different.
Available 24 hours after they launch.
And so then the other obvious question, and then I'll let Matt ask if he has any, is, are you going to have an indicator on the content calendar, or to know, how am I going to know if I can't make it to VMworld, which of these sessions are ones that will be put on in the online experience?
I'll give you the secret sauce. I'll give you one way.
If you came here, right? If you listen to this podcast, she's going to tell
sauce. No, there's one very obvious way, and then there's the secret sauce. So Miriam can give you the really obvious way. The secret sauce is, at the end, we have these session codes. If you see a D at the end of the session code, it means it's pre-recorded and it was on demand. So that's the secret backdoor way to know.
That's like going to Costco and seeing the 89 versus the 99 and the end of the number, right? Like,
I don't know that. You can help me out. What's that mean?
Yeah, if you're in Costco and anything that adds 99, that's regular price. So $20.99, that's regular price. $29.89 with a little asterisk they put above the thing in the top right-hand corner means that it's on sale, and they're not reordering, and therefore you can wait again, and they'll probably discount it one more time. So you can look at the cards.
I love this hack.
And know
shopping tips with Eric.
Thank you.
Discounted, and then if it has an asterisk, it means they're not ordering any more of that, so they'll discount it more as time goes on. So but cool. So D on the session numbers.
D at the end of the session code, and then also, Miriam,
you can also look at the session description, and delivery would be either on demand or in person. And when the schedule builder goes live for the US on July 19, then there would be a separate tab for sessions that are part of our digital destination. And then the other sessions would be divided by day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on.
Nice. I'm looking at it now and I see delivery in person. So if you expand out the breakout session description, it collapses out and gives you a bunch more data. And one of them at the bottom is delivery model. So in person over there. So that's cool. But I do love the D at the end, because if you're just scanning through, you don't have to open it up and go look. You can just see it's a D or not. So a great hack. Matt, do you have any thoughts on or questions around content recording or delivery?
I'll bring up another point that came up from the Twitter Spaces conversation this morning. And again, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't bring this up on behalf of TAM and Success 360 customers. I don't believe, Allison, Marianne, correct me if I'm wrong, but currently it is not listed within the content catalog. However, if you are a Success 360 or TAM customer, there is over 60 sessions available for you that you can speak with your TAM, Success 360 executive, or BU customer success manager, that you now have access to speak with subject matter experts, product managers, and product line managers, also potentially with other customers, for customer roundtables and whatnot, as you are, talking about, let's say you're interested in where a future horizon roadmap is headed, or you want to know, have a service request of you'd really like to see something included with TKGI or something within the Tanzu platform in general. These sessions are meant for you as a Success 360 or TAM customer. So if you have that service within your portfolio, within your organization, please make sure that you reach out to your TAM and take advantage of those sessions that are just set aside for you.
And I agree with everything that you said, Matt. And there actually are 38 of those 60-ish sessions that are available in the content catalog for only TAM customers and VMware 360 customer success customers. We identify by email address. So when they log in with that approved TAM customer email, they see an option for those sessions. But we wouldn't.
So if you were just, in other words, if you're browsing the content catalog just as a non-logged in user, you would not be able to see that currently. However, based on the credentials that you would probably have for your normal, let's call it customer connect email address and credentials, because that's then linked to your enterprise agreement, where we would know if you have that TAM or Success 360 resource, then you could book that session. However, as I brought up before, if you would run into difficulties with that and you're entitled to it, please be in touch with your Success 360 executive or your TAM that's assigned to your account.
All right, next topic on my list, right? Which, I haven't given them any of these topics yet. And maybe you can talk about it, maybe you can't. This is where I make these guys cringe a little bit. But no, only joking. You do have the keynotes, right? And you do have, what do you call the big sessions?
General session.
Yeah, solutions and general session with the special ones where. What can you tell us about what's going on in that space? Like, how many are we doing? I know there's a Gen session on Tuesday, right? Like, make you tap dance a little bit. What can we say about these things?
Well, we're making the sausage, and there is one general session that is going to be on Tuesday morning for 90 minutes, and then there are 8 solution keynotes that take the content from the general session and dive a little deeper into the more specifics. So there's a lot of coordination going on between, exec comms and all of the BGs and all of their communications people to make sure that we're having a cohesive story from the Gen session all the way through the solution keynotes.
And for me, that's like a fun, coming to the Gen session is just like fun. I think I will wear a mask, right? I think I'll just be safe and wear a mask, but I want to go because there's 14,000, I think we're targeting 12,000 people going to be in that Gen session, right? Which is like the energy level that you just get from everybody in a room, right? Is just amazing and worth it, right? And we are going to have one, and then I would assume Raghu and others will be part of that. And
absolutely,
like Raghu is probably my third favorite, right behind you two, right? With regard to giving us great strategy and great. Look at it. I've been here for 15 years. Raghu hired me at the beginning when we came over here, when there was I think I joined VMware when it was 2,000 people. And Raghu has always been the one, working with Mendel and Diane Green, originally the founders, kind of coming up with strategies for the data center. And so just coming to the show to listen to Raghu do a keynote is like, I pay the 2,000 just to come listen to see what he has to say, because he's such a brilliant guy, right? And sometimes people watch Raghu and they go, he's not that energetic. I know, but he's like a genius. And he knows our customer base, and he knows the IT industry so well that if you get an opportunity, it's like getting to listen to Wozniak talk about, devices and Macs and the old days. If you get to listen to Raghu talk about where IT is going, it is like a rarity. And so I'm looking forward to just get to hear him talk strategy, just like back in the days Mendel would get up on stage, and they would give Mendel like 25 minutes to talk about where things were going in tech, right, in IT. And I feel like this is an opportunity to get Raghu up there and have some fun with that. Just Pat was also very good at that, and so I'm pretty excited about this opportunity, where I just feel like the online sessions, you had the keynotes, but it was all on Zoom. You didn't have that energy in the room, the buzz that happens when you get 12,000 people in a room, right? So I'm excited about that, and I'm glad you guys are gonna put those on.
Absolutely.
Right. All right. So you've given us eight big general sessions.
Nope. One general session.
One
8
general.
keynotes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Then, so you guys aren't committing to a second cool session then on Thursdays like we used to do that, right?
All of our sessions are cool.
Yeah. No, I know we would do these way out ones where you put on a helmet and it'd measure your brain waves and do kind of the kind of things, which I think is good to understand that this year it's a 3-day show, right?
Yep.
But we are going right in through the Thursday, goes.
Yeah,
so,
but you got no more Sunday. We fly in. You
Sunday.
can stay with your family, if you can, and fly in on Monday.
Except that there's a lot of stuff that happens on Sunday and Monday. I know VMUG's going to have some stuff.
True.
VMUG board members going to have their stuff. TCAB going to have their stuff. So it actually feels like a little nicer because we've always had to deal with the Sunday, Monday early access community stuff. So I feel like it was always jammed. It turned into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where now at least I get it's Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I think most of us in this ecosystem, probably people listening to this podcast, know that there's stuff to come in. You fly in on Saturday and there's stuff to do on Sunday. And I know the community booth, for example, is open all day Monday, right? So we've got stuff going on there.
And we have a lot of stuff on Monday too.
That's right. We're going
to be hands-on labs.
Yep. And talks on how to be a good blogger and that kind of stuff.
Oh, cool. Very
cool. It'll be going on all week, and there's a lot of little stuff going on Sunday too. So most people will get there no later than Sunday, and then there's stuff on Sunday night that's always happening. So yeah, but I feel like this gets a little bit less intense, right? Yeah. Matt, what else do we want to ask these guys? Well, I'm gonna ask them the traditional follow up, but I don't know if there's other things that we need to ping them.
So we have 608 sessions that are out there right now. If I look through the entire catalog, but I'm sure there's some other drops to come, right? Some other announcements, some other teasers, maybe some special guests and whatnot. Okay. And
I thought 608. I thought you were cut it back. That's a huge number.
We have nearly 1,000 at the end, or more actually. Wow. I'd have to look and see. So if we're and that's every session right now. That's not just breakout sessions. So we still have all of our fabulous theaters and Code Theater, so it all adds up.
Right. No, it's crazy.
What can we, without giving away any of the secret sauce, Alice and Marianne, what can we maybe expect to hear as far as just some broad brushstrokes of some things that we might want to keep as a community, our ears to the ground of things to be expecting here within the next couple of weeks, or as we start to really get closer to the event, of maybe some speakers or some events, or just a little bit to put a teaser out there that, now that we're back in person, that we might be looking at for the event.
You're so subtle, Matt, right? Like, we want to know what the party is
coming.
Exactly. I was going to say, hold on, because you got to wait here.
They're never going to tell us.
Well, we're going to announce where the party is. So definitely it's very cool. And I think people will be excited just because of where it's at, not even who's there. So
I just got goosebumps because I know what the answer should be, but I don't know if it is.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
That sounds exciting, right?
But you're also going to see a lot more of the multi-cloud, right? So the center of the universe of multi-cloud is VMware Explorer, and we are working behind the scenes to do some really cool content-related things focused on our multi-cloud universe, our hyperscalers. And so you probably be seeing some more of that, some stuff that you probably don't get when you go to kind of just one of their events. I'll just say that, since we have relationships across all of them. So we're working on.
Of course, we've
on more of
already
that.
called out Kelsey Hightower is going to be there
Amen.
presenting,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Principal engineer over at Google.
Yep. Very
I'm sure that
psyched
we can
about
see
that.
industry veterans and well-known industry names that perhaps
Some analyst names coming
yeah,
up
sure.
probably. Yep, we're fervently working on a lot of things that'll drop in the next
I'm going to
few
follow
weeks.
up because I'm just so excited. So I just gotta. So can you tell me that the party will not be in Moscone Center? How about that? Can you at least confirm?
I can confirm the party is not
This
in
is going to be
Moscone.
great. I know, because there are some really all venues outside of Moscone Center are fun in San Francisco. There's not a bad external. Like one time we had it at the Tech Center, another time we had it on the one of the islands between the bridge. Remember that a year way back? They bussed us over to forget what that island
Treasure
is.
Island.
Yeah, Treasure Island, where we leased that whole place out, and had video game cool stuff. Like there have been some really epic parties. I felt like on-prem it was a little less exciting because you're just in Moscone yet again. But I'm super excited about that. And then Matt, I will just say this is not really relevant to Miriam and Allison, but like I was somewhere and I had a full cold beer, right? And I haven't had any real drinking because my wife doesn't let me drink. I work at home every day. Like it's like going somewhere and having a beer with friends and like maybe a cigar or something. Like it was amazing. The beer tasted the best cold brew I've ever had. And so if we have a party, like you guys need to go register just so you can come get drunk with me, because let me tell you, it tastes better than anything I've ever drank. Having a beer after 2 years of COVID dryness. My kidneys and liver are all ready to go. They are like peak performance. They haven't had anything in years. This is going to be a lot of fun.
That's hilarious.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
And this
party's
is a
going to be
segue to
something
what
else.
Yeah, this is a segue to what I wanted to talk about, which I usually don't get to talk about, but I love, is the food. I just came back from a tasting at Moscone, and they flew in the chef from Savor who'd be doing the catering, and the food, which is something I have never been excited about at a conference, was phenomenal. I think that our attendees not only would be delighted by our content, but this time they would actually love the food. So come for the content and stay for the food.
Yeah. That also, because that's the other thing. Like when you've had, conference food regardless for 15 years straight, and then we go 2 or 3 years without any conference food, it actually doesn't have to be that good to be amazing. It's like my beer. All you're reiterating is that you haven't had any external food either. And then you went and tasted the same old chicken wing and it tasted amazing because you just haven't gotten out of it. So it is crazy how things that used to be so old and so routine, now when you come to the external event, I'm sure the food is going to be great, right? But I would say that
it really is. Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever been on a diet and then you break your diet and all of the food just tastes amazing?
All my life.
I was going to say, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I feel like the beer and the food is going to be amazing as an experience. Yeah. And then all the content, all the learning, everything else.
All the networking, all that other stuff.
You do. And the industry is changing fast enough that it is worthwhile going and getting out. And I would say go to VMware.com/explore, click on the US event, go to content calendar. It's like 3 clicks, easy to get there. You will be amazed at being able to sort through these 600 pieces of content. I mean, I think it's just an educational thing for me just to look at the stuff and read. Just like even if you don't ever see a session, just spending time seeing how many topics are out there and how easy it is to go just look at blockchain and see all the blockchain stuff, right? And just read what's out there. It is so nice and clean that like it's almost like we should keep this up for 5 more years as an educational tool, because it really is
That's awesome.
top notch, right? Matt, we got 9 more minutes left for the show. We always ask them what their goals and objectives are coming into the next 6 months. Anything else we want to hit before we do the traditional wrap up?
This is more of a personal question for the both of you, but this is, from a project management perspective, I'm sure that this is now you're down to the wire, right? This is really you're 8 weeks out. There's a lot of orchestration. This is probably where you hit that 1 or 2 bumps in the road things and whatnot. But you guys have done this before. So just from, let's just call it an operational perspective, your PMs in your own right of how do you balance things over the next 2 months? How do you guys personally manage between the run up to this event, the intensity of the run up to this event, with just trying to stay sane, right? Of being in for it for what is the duration, right? You guys not only have to get up to the starting line, but then finish through the event, and then start planning all over again. So, what's your strategies? How do you manage such a project of this scale, and then still maintain some level of personal space and time for yourselves?
You want me to go first?
Sure. Allison's dishing the question off to Marianne.
I think it's a matter of having the right mix of people on the team so that we can, like the yin and yang, to balance each other out, having a great timeline and milestones that you drive to, and looking at the resources and getting feedback and really listening to the feedback and making changes as you go along. But Allison is a great mentor to me. I always look up to her. And I've had great bosses in the past. And one of my previous bosses, one time I came to him and I was so frustrated and so anxious, and I just everything was falling apart. This event was not going the way I wanted. And he just said, breathe. And he said, I have a question for you. Is somebody going to die tomorrow? I'm like, nope. Are you in very acute physical pain? Nope. So then we can fix it. And I said, yeah. So every time I get to that point, I just breathe, take it a life check, and just start hitting that list and just marking them off as I go.
Yeah, and it takes a village, right? So I want to give a shout out to all of the content leads, right, that we work with. We are PMs for a vast number of BU PMMs, TMMs, that are just constantly at work trying to work through getting all of this content together. So, it's 4 of us, and it's like 100 other people that are really involved in getting this all done. So I really want to give a big thanks because it's our day job. It's not their day job. So it's really, without them, we wouldn't be able to have the great content that we've had year over year over year. So I really it's really important to give a shout out to them too.
Absolutely.
Matt, you know how we deal with it? When the curtain goes up, the show goes on, right? I don't think anybody ever gets done. I think that you run out of time. You work as hard as you can on everything you can. And, it never all gets done. There's always issues. There's always things that are wrong. And then the old adage, you don't have to outrun the bear. You have to do better than Salesforce. That's all. So the curtain's going to go up, and we do a really good job compared to everybody else, and that's it. That's my analogy. Like when I did the code booth, all that, I'm never done. You just never get done with everything. You just run out of time, and you get what you get, right? And then you hope it's better than your competitors, right? And generally it has been. So that's the deal. Right? Fun stuff.
And I want to say one thing, because we didn't get to it. So wanted to also give a shout out to our regions, right? Because this year is new that we're in Brazil.
Absolutely.
We're in Singapore, right? We've never been in those two. We've always had our Japan and our China events, but they're coming back. So we have 2 new locations for VMware Explore, as well as coming back strong in Japan and China.
Yeah, and that's going to be fun. I'm sure there's going to be momentum along that the APJ run when that gets going in September, October, right? Like that all happens, and branded Explore now, that should be fun for everybody, right?
Yeah, and they're doing some cool things because Japan and China are really hybrid, very small in person, very strong digital platform. So it'll be fun, all in language. So I won't be going to them, but we won't be understanding any of it, but it'll be really cool.
We do send some code packages there, and usually recruit people to do some community stuff at all those events. And so we do cover that, and certainly do social and community for that. So that's cool. We're at the end of the hour. The last 3 minutes, because we live stream on youtube.com/vbarbecue. VBARBECUE. You can go over there, give us a like and a follow, watch the video. You can actually see what Allison and Miriam look like. So we just do that for fun. And because it is near lunchtime in California, we'll ask both of you, what is your favorite barbecue? Do you make barbecue? Do you have some barbecue that you like to go to? A favorite restaurant, or do you make barbecue at home? And we'll start with Miriam because she's unmuted.
I love food. Can't you tell? The favorite barbecue place that I go to is in South Winchester in San Jose, and we love their chicken and their ribs. But I'll take my husband barbecuing any day if he volunteers for it. I'm in.
Can't get it. I got a Traeger finally, right, with the pellet feeders and all that. So we're gonna smoke over the 4th of July weekend for the first time. And I have my daughter's partner. He catches a lot of fish, does a lot of fishing. So he's going to bring fish, and we're going to smoke fish all day on 4th of July. Allison, what's your go-to barbecue?
So my go-to barbecue is right here in Burlington, North Carolina, Steve's Smokehouse. But this weekend, a friend of ours is coming in from Pennsylvania. She makes her own barbecue sauce. So I have a rack of ribs that I'm going to start slow cooking, and I'm going to be pouring her barbecue sauce over it. So.
Yum.
Oh, yeah. That sounds better than my fish barbecue, right?
Your smoked fish sounds delicious.
Should go well, right? Matt, any plans for the 4th of July weekend?
Several, but focused in on food. We always have gone for, this is a family tradition, 20 some years, where we do a family style rib roast. They'll buy, 50 pounds of ribs. And it's a week-long process as far as setting up the brine, and then various different sauces and whatnot. A lot of it, they'll do it where it's brined in some type of, a light beer, or sometimes they'll do another type of brine, and then all the different sauces that go with it as it's finished off. So they will bake in the oven on some occasions, and then they will slow finish it off so that the sauce sort of caramelizes out on a wood fire or a briquette fired grill, some gas grills or whatnot. I know, Eric, your opinion on gas grills, but most of it is done traditionally out there on the good old fashioned briquettes. So that is always an activity over the 4th of July that we have participated in, and probably will go to do. I have some concerts scheduled for that following Sunday. For 90s rock band fans, I am headed to see Bush and Candlebox.
Nice.
I actually have a pretty good friend that is friends with the lead guitarist in Candlebox currently. So
very
going to
fun.
go and see them on Sunday.
I know we're at the hour. We got to let these guys go because they're super busy. We do have Laura Heisman, our CMO, coming on the podcast August 20th. So we're excited about that. We'll be again every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Come join us, say hello, and go register for VMworld. See you again next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.